Good morning, students.
Good morning, sir.
Morning, sir.
Morning, sir.
Morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Today's topic of discussion is muscles of orbit. So, more specifically, extraocular muscles will be discussed today. Now, what are the extraocular muscles of orbit? So, there are 7 muscles which are called extraocular muscle. So, this one is superior rectus, this one is superior oblique. And inferior aspect, you can see here cut portion of inferior oblique, inferior rectus. This one is inferior oblique. And here medial rectus, here lateral rectus. Now another muscle is there, levator palpebrae superioris. That one is not shown here. So muscles of the orbit. So there are voluntary muscles and involuntary muscles. So voluntary muscles or striated muscles of orbit. There are 7 muscles, of which 4 are recti and 2 oblique that moves the eyeball, and levator palpebrae superioris that elevates the upper eyelid. So voluntary muscles are 4 recti, 2 oblique that move the eyeball, and levator palpebrae superioris elevates the upper eyelid. You will also get 3 involuntary or smooth muscles. These are superior tarsal, inferior tarsal, and orbitalis. So these are the muscles of orbit. So this one is levator palpebrae superioris. So this one is superior oblique muscle. This one is superior rectus. This is lateral rectus, medial rectus, inferior oblique. So these are 7 extraocular muscles which are striated or voluntary. Now in this slide you can see the recti muscle, medial rectus, lateral rectus, superior, inferior to superior you will get inferior rectus. So if you see the direction of superior rectus and inferior rectus, it is oblique. And you can see 3 dotted lines. So this part is called anterior pole of eye and this part posterior pole of eye. If you draw an imaginary line connecting the anterior pole and the posterior pole, so that is called visual axis or the meridian, and horizontal line is equator of the eyeball. Now if you see the direction of superior rectus and inferior rectus, so this makes an angle 25 degree with the visual axis. And in this slide, so this is the direction of superior oblique and inferior oblique. So these oblique muscles make an angle 51 degree medial to the visual axis. Now come to the recti muscles. Now origin of the recti muscle, they originated from common tendinous ring in the posterior part of the orbit, which bridges across the superior orbital fissure. And this common tendinous ring also encloses the optic canal. So you can see optic nerve and ophthalmic artery within the common tendinous ring. Now these recti are attached to the corresponding margins of the fibrous ring according to their name. So superior rectus will be above, inferior rectus will be below. So this one is lateral rectus placed laterally, medial rectus medially. So according to their names, they will attach. Now if you compare the origin of all four recti, lateral recti has two heads of origin. And there is a small gap between the two heads, and through that gap, 6 cranial nerve or abducens nerve passes. So origin is common tendinous ring, and lateral rectus has two heads of origin. In between two heads, there is a small gap through which abducens nerve passes. Now insertion of recti muscle. So from its origin, the recti proceed forwards in a cone of muscles and spread out at the site of insertion into the sclera. So common origin, that is the common tendinous ring. From its origin, it proceeds forward and there will be spreading out of the muscle and inserted into the sclera. Now insertion of these four muscles are in front of the equator of the eyeball. So this horizontal line is the equator of the eyeball, in front of the equator of the eyeball, but behind the sclerocorneal junction. So this line is the sclerocorneal junction. This whole white area is the sclera, and this light blue color is cornea, and this line is sclerocorneal junction. So insertion is in front of the equator, but behind the sclerocorneal junction. Now, the insertion of medial rectus is 5 mm from the sclerocorneal junction. Inferior rectus is 6 mm from sclerocorneal junction. Lateral rectus 7 mm from the sclerocorneal junction, and superior rectus 8 mm from the sclerocorneal junction. So 5, 6, 7, 8 mm. So muscles are medial rectus, inferior rectus, lateral rectus, and upper rectus or superior rectus. So next muscle is the superior oblique muscle. So origin of the superior oblique is the under surface of lesser wing of the sphenoid. So under surface of lesser wing of the sphenoid bone, and it is above and medial to common tendinous ring. So from its origin, the superior oblique at first passes forward along the upper margin of medial rectus. So at the junction of roof and medial wall of the orbit, it forms a rounded tendon which passes through a fibrocartilaginous pulley called trochlea fixed to a depression of frontal bone. So this one is the fibrocartilaginous pulley. So at the junction of medial wall and floor of the orbit. So this is not the floor. roof and the floor, you will get trochlea and fibrocartilaginous tuli. So from that tuli, the tendon is separated by a bursa. So there is a bursa which prevents frictionless movement of the tendon of superior oblique muscle, and from that tuli it passes backward, laterally and downward below the superior rectus. So thereafter inserted into the sclera behind the equator of the eyeball in posterior superior quadrant. So as it passes backwards, laterally and downwards from the fibrocartilaginous tuli, this tuli itself represents functional origin of the superior oblique muscle. So here is the origin of superior oblique muscle. Then it passes forward. So here there is a fibrocartilaginous tuli. Then it passes backwards, laterally, downward below the superior rectus and inserted into the sclera in the posterior superior quadrant of the eyeball behind the equator. So this is the insertion of superior oblique muscle. Now origin of inferior oblique is orbital surface of maxilla in the floor of the orbit. It is hidden here. And it is slightly lateral to nasolacrimal nodes. So it is originated from orbital surface of maxilla in the floor of the orbit, slightly lateral to the nasolacrimal nodes. And insertion, from its origin, it passes at first backwards, laterally below the inferior rectus. Then it turns upwards, backwards and laterally under cover of lateral rectus, and finally inserted into the sclera behind the equator in the posterior superior quadrant of the eyeball. So it is close to the superior oblique at the insertion. So superior oblique and inferior oblique are closer near their insertion, and their insertion is behind the equator of the eyeball. In this slide, nerve supply is shown. So there are three nerves supplying the extraocular muscles. So this one is trochlear nerve supplying superior oblique muscle. So this one is abducens nerve supplying lateral rectus muscle, and rest of the extraocular muscles are supplied by third cranial nerve or the oculomotor nerve. So if you see the nerve supply of extraocular muscles, all striated ocular muscles are supplied by third cranial nerve or the oculomotor nerve, except lateral rectus and superior oblique. So except lateral rectus and superior oblique, all striated ocular muscles are supplied by third cranial nerve. Lateral rectus is supplied by abducens, that is the sixth cranial nerve. Superior oblique is supplied by trochlear nerve, that is fourth cranial nerve. So you can remember the extraocular muscles nerve supply by LR6, SO4, remaining 3. So LR means lateral rectus by 6th cranial nerve, that is the abducens nerve. SO4, superior oblique by 4th cranial or trochlear nerve, and remaining muscles are supplied by third cranial or the oculomotor nerve. Now come to the levator palpebrae superioris. So this muscle is not attached to the eyeball. So it is a triangular sheet of muscle which intervenes between roof of the orbit and superior rectus muscle. So this muscle is present between roof of the orbit and the superior rectus. Its origin is from under surface of lesser wing of the sphenoid above the common tendinous ring as a narrow tendon. So it is tendinous in origin from under surface of lesser wing of the sphenoid above the common tendinous ring. So from its origin, this muscle passes forward, then it becomes broad and fleshy with a straight medial margin and a concave lateral margin. So origin is tendinous from under surface of lesser wing of the sphenoid, then it passes forward, become broad and fleshy with straight medial and concave lateral margin. So this one is levator palpebrae superioris. Origin is in under surface of lesser wing of the sphenoid bone, which is tendinous. As it passes forward, it becomes broad and fleshy. Now, if you trace this muscle anteriorly, this muscle ends in an aponeurosis. And this aponeurosis splits into 3 lamellae. So you will get 3 lamellae anteriorly, upper lamella, intermediate lamella, and lower lamella. Upper lamella penetrates orbital septum, passes through the fibers of orbicularis oculi muscle, and attached to the skin of upper eyelid. A few fibers gain attachment to the anterior surface of superior tarsus muscle. So upper lamella, it penetrates orbital septum, passes through the fibers of orbicularis oculi and attached to the skin of upper eyelid. A few fibers gain attachment to the anterior surface of superior tarsus muscle. So this green color is the upper lamella. It penetrates the orbital septum, then passes through the fibers of orbicularis oculi, then attached to the skin of upper eyelid. So some portion is attached to the superior tarsus muscle. The second is intermediate lamella, forms unstriped superior tarsial muscle, that is smooth muscle, which is attached to the upper margin of superior tarsus. So this part is the intermediate lamella. It forms superior tarsial muscle and attached to the superior tarsus. And this part is inferior lamella or lower lamella. It is derived from conjoined connective tissue of superior rectus and levator palpebrae superioris. So derived from conjoined connective tissue of superior rectus and levator palpebrae superioris, and is inserted into the superior fornix of the conjunctiva. So lower lamella derived from connective tissue of levator palpebrae superioris and superior rectus and inserted into the fornix. So this bluish color is upper lamella. So this part is intermediate lamella and this part is lower lamella. So these are the 3 lamellae of levator palpebrae superioris muscle. So nerve supply of levator palpebrae superioris muscle is third cranial nerve or the oculomotor nerve. Now this nerve races levator palpebrae superioris after innervating superior rectus muscle. So, levator palpebrae superioris is the delaminated part of superior rectus muscle. The action of levator palpebrae superioris, it elevates the upper eyelid. And range of the movement is limited by attachment of its medial and lateral margin. So action of levator palpebrae superioris, it elevates upper eyelid. So next, come to the axis of muscle in comparison with the visual axis. So this one is medial rectus, this one is lateral rectus. So these two recti lie in same horizontal plane. Now superior rectus and inferior rectus, they are situated in same oblique plane, directed forward laterally, making an angle 25 degrees away from the optical or visual axis in primary position of the eye. In abducted eye, optical axis, so this one is optical axis, coincide with the axis of superior and inferior recti. So when eye is abducted, this anterior pole will be here. So this 25 degree we will not get. Anterior pole of eye will be from the direction of superior and inferior muscle. So oblique muscles, so this one is superior oblique and this one is inferior oblique muscle, lie in same oblique plane. So their direction is backward and laterally, making an angle 51 degree medial to the so in adducted eye, the optical axis coincide with the axis of oblique muscle. So when eye is adducted, this anterior pole of eyeball will be directed towards this axis. Now movements of the eyeball. So to know the movements of the eyeball, the center of cornea or center of pupil is used as anatomic anterior pole of eye. So all the movements of eye are then related to the direction of movements of anterior pole as it rotates on any one of the axes, horizontal, vertical, or sagittal. Sagittal sometimes taken as anterior posterior axis. Now movement of the eyeball occurs as rotations around three axes: vertical, transverse, and anterior-posterior. Now rotation around transverse axis is elevation, that is the rotation of eye upward; depression, that is the rotation of eye downward. Rotation around the vertical axis, these are abduction and adduction. So in abduction, rotation of eye laterally; in adduction, rotation of rotation around anterior-posterior axis. Medial rotation is called intorsion, lateral rotation is called extorsion. So this one is transverse axis. So along this axis, there will be elevation and depression. So around the vertical axis, there will be abduction and adduction, and anterior-posterior axis, so medial rotation, intorsion, and lateral rotation or extorsion. So this one is medial rectus. When it contracts, so there is adduction of eyeball. So this is the lateral rectus. It abducts the eyeball. Superior oblique, it depresses the eyeball, and there is intorsion. Inferior rectus, so it depresses as well as laterally rotate eyeball. Inferior oblique, it elevates the eyeball and extorsion. And superior oblique, it raises the eyeball, elevation and intorsion. So superior rectus elevates, inferior rectus depress, superior oblique depression, inferior oblique elevation. So action of individual muscles. So medial rectus, adduction only; lateral rectus, abduction only; now superior rectus, in primary position of eye, it elevates, adduct, and there is medial rotation. Inferior rectus, it depress, adduct, and extorsion. Superior oblique, depression, adduction, and intorsion. Inferior oblique, elevation, abduction, and extorsion. So medial rectus is adduction. So elevation of eyeball by superior rectus, inferior oblique muscle; depression of eyeball by inferior rectus and superior oblique muscle; abduction is by lateral rectus muscle. If you see the individual muscle, the medial rectus adduction, lateral rectus abduction; elevation is by superior rectus and inferior oblique; depression is by superior oblique and inferior rectus muscle. So this is the primary position. Eye is looking forward. The center of pupil is taken as the anterior pole. So this is the elevation. So if you look towards the ceiling, so that will elevate your eyeball, and two muscles will act: superior rectus and inferior oblique muscle. If you look towards the floor, so that is depression of eyeball, and this movement by superior oblique and inferior rectus muscle. And if you look towards right side of your windows, your right eye will be abducted and left eye will be adducted. You can see left eyeball is or pupil is moving, directing towards the nose, and right pupil is directing towards the ear. So in this way, if you look towards your left side of windows, your left eye will be abducted and right eye will be adducted. And these are rotational movement. Clinical importance of extraocular muscle. One is diplopia, that is the double vision. So on looking downwards, if there is weakness of superior oblique, there will be diplopia. If there is weakness in the inferior oblique,